seamless admission and visa processing to study, work, and live abroad, call Jestone Education on 080-94-194-444 or 0909-8919-444. Jestone Education, actualizing career dreams. If you wanna study abroad,
if you need a visa to travel, Jestone Education
is all you need. You can study, you can live, you can walk abroad.
Jestone Education,
Actualizing dreams. For seamless admission and visa processing to study, work, and live abroad, call Jestone Education on 080-94-194-444 or 0909-8919-444. Jestone Education, actualizing career dreams. If you wanna study abroad,
if you need a visa to travel, Jestone Education
is all you need. You can study, you can live, you can walk abroad.
Jestone Education,
Actualizing dreams. For seamless admission and visa processing to study, work, and live abroad, call Jestone Education on 080-94-194-444 or 0909-8919-444. Jestone Education, actualizing career dreams. If you wanna study abroad,
if you need a visa to travel, Jestone Education
is all you need. You can study, you can live, you can walk abroad.
Jestone Education,
Actualizing dreams. For seamless admission and visa processing to study, work, and live abroad, call Jestone Education on 080-94-194-444 or 0909-8919-444. Jestone Education, actualizing career dreams. If you wanna study abroad,
if you need a visa to travel, Jestone Education
is all you need. You can study, you can live, you can walk abroad.
Jestone Education,
Actualizing dreams. For seamless admission and visa processing to study, work, and live abroad, call Jestone Education on 080-94-194-444 or 0909-8919-444. Jestone Education, actualizing.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. You're welcome to the final episode of our post-Waec Study Abroad Pathway series. This is a webinar we've been having throughout the month of August, and today is the final episode. Today is the grand finale. We're wrapping up the series today. So you're welcome. Welcome everyone to this series. Please with you to mute yourself. Hi, Odogun, kindly mute yourself, please. All right, thank you very much. So welcome again, welcome you once again to this special episode. It's the finale, it's the final episode, and today we're going to be walking you through, course options, and it's also going to be very insightful. We've had three episodes. We've had episode one, episode two, episode three as well, and they were all very insightful. And today we are having the final episode. In the past episode, the lead consultant took us through different countries students can study at. We went through budget ranges. We went through post-study opportunities for international students. We also went through a wide range of supports that Just Education offers to students. So today hopes to be more insightful. There will also be room for you to ask your questions. If you have any question during the presentation, just raise up your hands and we're going to give you the platform to speak. Alternatively, you can also drop your questions in the chat box and we will be responding to all of them shortly. So thank you to all the parents. Thank you to all the students who have joined us from Nigeria and beyond. We hope at the end of the session, you can be able to make decisions on where to study, relevant course options to study for your children, and if you're a working professional as well, course options for you to upskill at the end of the session. With me here, I have the lead consultant of Just Education, Mrs. Jessica Nkanta. Good morning, ma.
Good morning, Tosi, and good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us once again.
Thank you very much, ma.
Okay, so I'm just going to go right into it. I hope that you can all see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so today I'm going to reintroduce Just Education just in case anybody is here and you have not heard about us or, it's your first time joining. I believe that there are people who's joined us before and, they felt this is interesting and I'm learning and they need to be back here again and they've joined us. And this series we have tagged after high school, what next? That's because there's so many questions, on the minds of the high school leavers or just even people who are still in high school and as well as parents. This series stemmed from the fact that I have had so many conversations with parents and also high school leavers. And at the point where I was speaking to them, majority of them still do not know what they want to study. We give kudos to counselors in high schools, but again, I feel there's still a huge work to be done in the area of counseling and helping students to select where they want to study. And this also has to do with even students who want to study in Nigeria. We're not necessarily saying that this series is only for those who want to study abroad, even though we're in an international education consulting company. So what we do is we place students into universities and colleges abroad. But we believe that what we do is also going to be advantageous to even students who are looking to study in Nigeria, especially selecting a course that they need to study, looking at where the world is headed to or where we're headed for, what courses they need to study to be able to stand out in the society and make impact in whatever it is they are trying to do or in the industry or field that that they have graduated from and they are looking to go into. And that's why we're doing this series. And I'm hoping that we're bringing this, today is the end of this particular series. There's going to be so many more series that's going to come up, from our team and trying to enlighten people on what they need to know in the education space and that will also have an impact on their career positively. So that's why we're doing this series. We're helping you to explore courses, explore career pathways, study destinations, and so many other things that people need to know. So welcome to today's episode, and I'm hoping that you're like I've always said, that you're able to take things away from this and make an informed decision, be it, on the path of your course or a destination or what you even need to look out for when selecting a country that you want to go to study. Sorry. Okay. I'm not sure why I'm unable to share my screen. Okay, thank you. So who are we? We're ICEF certified and we're British Council certified as well. And we have over 300 institutions that are cut across 30 destinations. So we have universities and colleges and high schools as well in countries like the UK, the US, Canada, Australia, Netherlands, or, and so many countries. We have schools in Turkey, we have schools in South Korea, we have so many universities across all these countries, and we are licensed to represent them. I try to stress on this. We're licensed to speak on their behalf when it comes to recruiting students into their institutions, to be able to properly guide you when it comes to the documentation that you need, when it comes to what you need to provide, what you need to look out for. That's what we are licensed to do. And we do that effortlessly. So students that have used our service can testify. If you go up on our website or even on our social media handle, you can see testimonials and reviews from people who have used our service and how well they've done and they are currently doing. So we're hoping that you can take from these and also be part of the over 5,000 students we've placed over the years. You can add to that number of lives that we're changing by the work that we're doing on a daily basis. And being able to counsel students, being able to point them in the right direction. So many students have come to us directionless. They don't even know what to study. In fact, even working professionals have come to us and some of them have had so many years of work experience, and they're saying, I want to, change the course of what I'm doing, or I want to, change how things have been in my career, and we're able to point them to the right direction. I had a student one time who came up to me and said, in fact, he didn't come to us. He came with his aunt, and he was sitting in front of her, in front of me, and we're talking about his aunt's child that we're at the moment processing a visa and admission for. And he didn't have any need to, speak to me, but he just said, and his auntie said, do you want to speak to him? I said, oh, no, no, I'm sorted. I already have an offer. I'm going to school in January. And we're speaking sometime in, I think it was sometime in August. And I asked him, what did you study? He had studied biochemistry at the moment. And he was saying to me, he's going to study international business. It didn't make sense to me. So I asked a few questions. Do you have work experience in business? Is there any reason why you're changing career? There was no reason. He just felt I'd spoken to this agent, and that was the easiest he could get me at the time. And I said, no, you're going to waste 4 years of your educational career, or 4 years of your education experience studying this, whereas you can put that into use and do something else that is still in that line that would benefit you. And we had that conversation. And I think after that, he said, okay, let me give it a shot. We got him an offer to study nursing. He's so happy. At the time he came to the office after whilst he was still having his program, he sat down and did a beautiful review for us, and it was very, very good. And he said, nobody ever said this to me. I said, you have 4 years that you've spent in the university learning things around the healthcare industry and medical sciences. Why do you want to waste that experience? You can still put it to use. He's so happy. He's currently practicing as a nurse, and he still messages me to say thank you for, helping me make this decision. So these are things that we do for people, and we're happy that they go on to come back and say thank you because we have not led them astray. And that's the same thing we're going to be doing with you. Should you give us the opportunity to do same? We have over 99% admission success rate. So we know what to apply for, and we are able to get out your offer letter from the institution that we've applied to. Again, our visa success rate is very high. So students who have used our service have all gotten, well, not all, but majority of them have gotten their visas. And even for visas that are turned down, we still ensure that we work with them. So what do I mean? The students who might have had immigration issues and they are unable to move forward to a particular country, we ensure that we work with them till we're able to get them into a country that they are happy to be in. And that's what I mean by 99% visa success rate. So if we don't get a visa the first time, we go again. And most of the time, we get that visa out, and our clients are very happy with that. Again, what do we do? I just give us, an example of where I had counseled someone, and the same for the team. Everybody knows what to do. They know where to step in career counseling. We counsel you when it comes to your career, what we believe that you should do. And we say that from experience. So we are not just saying do this or do that. This is stem from experience over the years that we've had with our clients. There's fast track admission processing. Some of the students last week, just last week, a parent called and she was almost crying and saying, I need this done and I trust that you can do it. I believe that Jason is not going to let me down. It was a very, very hard task, to be honest. Very, very hard task. Guess what? In less than 24 hours, we got an offer letter for her. I still spoke to her this morning. That's what we mean by fast track admission processing. Even when schools are closed, we're still able to pull out admission letters because of our relationships with the institutions that we work with. So, in hard situations, speak to us. We're still going to be able to help pull these things through. Study visa processing. I've talked about that already. I don't need to stress on it, but this is one of our selling points. We're experiencing what we do and we're able to properly get out the visa for students based on our experience and the research that we've done and what we know that the countries are asking for to be able to approve a visa for a student. Um, I'm going to be giving you a lot of illustrations here. So I spoke with a client a few weeks ago, and she was like, "Oh, I don't think I need to use anybody. I know what to do, blah, 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 blah." I'm like, "Okay, you're not under compulsion to use us, but what we bring to the table is experience, and we know what document you need to put through." And she never got back to me. And last night, she sent a long voice note crying and saying, "My visa has been turned down and I need help," and that. You know, unfortunately, um, there are some things we might not be able to do. If a school resumes next week and you're going to Canada, there's no magic we're going to perform. You need to wait it out for that visa to be processed again. So why do you want to go the route of trying things on your own when you're not experienced to do it? There are some people that are very thorough and they're able to get these things done, but everybody's not thorough. And we always know where these loopholes are and what they're looking out for. So speak to us and let's take you through this journey seamlessly. Setting the pace, we're able to speak to you about career opportunities, global mobility, which is what we're going to be dealing with most of the time today, and personal growth. We've talked about this last week, the world's fastest growing jobs. What are countries and industries looking for? Where is the world, you know, tilting towards when it comes to careers and jobs and opportunities in that sector? There's so many of them, it's evolving, the future skills are changing and the things that are in demand are different from what they used to be. There's big data specialists, there's fintech engineering. It's just on your screen. You can take a look at it. And if it's something that you want to, and I know that last week I also mentioned that some of you have done things, like we're speaking to high school students, but I do know that there are some of us here who are probably graduates already. You're going to also be able to benefit from this. Some of us have done things in business or done things in sciences, and you're thinking, how do I, delve into this field? There's still opportunity for you if you're a high school student who has just graduated or still in high school and you feel now I want to switch. The only thing we might not be able to do for you if you've done business or arts and you say now I want to study pharmacy or I want to study medicine, we might not be able to help you because you need a very, very good background in chemistry, and biology. So we might not be able to help you. But across other fields, we still are able to switch you from one field to another. So if you've not done anything in sciences, but you're looking to do nursing, there's still an opportunity for you. If you've not done anything in sciences, but you're tilting towards IT, we're still able to get you into a field of IT. There's so many fields. There's a blend of business and IT that you can do. There's a blend of health and IT. There's so many things that you can still do, even if you have not done something in that field in high school. Now we're looking at exploring future of work courses. There's so many of them, just like the last slide. There's AI and data, which is big. There's cybersecurity and digital trust, supply chain and agri-tech. Last week I spoke a lot about agri-tech, and I said it's a very big industry. So if you're able to get into that industry, especially based on the fact that there's shortage of food across the globe, it's not just in Nigeria you know, there's an issue with food security. So these are things that we want to start looking into. A lot of countries are big on food security. That's how to know a government that works when the people are able to feed, not just have money, but able to feed. That's the basic need of man. So anybody who is in that field would do well, at it. There's a creative tech, again, UI, UX. You don't have to have an IT background to want to delve into this. And I know for even a lot of students who have not done anything relating to this in their first degree, we've been able to also put them into courses around this. We have schools that can take you for courses that are called I'm looking for the word, but yeah, someone who has not done anything in that field can still move into, they're like conversion courses. They are called conversion courses. You're able to convert from one field to another. I've done business, but now I want to study nursing, or I've done business, but now I want to do something around radiography, or I've done maybe health, but now I want to go into IT. We're still able to get you into those courses. They're called conversion courses, and you do well at it because your background knowledge of what you've done would also be a stepping stone into the career that you want to go into. Now, today we're looking at international student policy updates 2024 to 2025. A lot is changing in the international education space. Some countries are withdrawing their post-study opportunities. Some countries are increasing it, some countries are reducing it, some countries are putting stricter rules, but there's a lot of changes around the globe. And if you have an understanding of what you need to do, then you will be able to properly fit into a country that will support what your plans are. Looking at the United Kingdom, in January 2024, dependent visas were banned for certain courses, and one of them was a thought master's course. Now, the thought master's course are your MScs, your MBAs, your MAs. They were banned. Of course, in the UK, you have to be studying at the master's level to be able to want to bring your dependents into the country. So the changes around that was that if you are going in for a thought master's, you won't be able to bring in your dependents. You have to come alone. The work hours still remain 20 hours, during term time, and full-time work during your holidays. The post-study work is still 2 years and 3 years. There are talks around the white paper that was released recently about reducing the post-study to 18 months, for master students, but it hasn't been implemented. So far, I believe that even if it's 18 months, you can still do a lot with 18 months if you know what you're doing in the country. But these are the few changes that have occurred in the United Kingdom when it comes to student visa applications and what to expect. Of course, for students who are coming for the MRES courses, not in all situations, in some cases, you're able to bring your family. So some universities have what is called the Master of Research course, or the MPhil courses, or the PhD courses. For those courses, you're able to bring your dependents with you. And we have also been able to properly get students into those fields. For the people who are looking to do the MRes or the MPhil or the PhD, they've been able to come in, and study that course with their family. Okay. Now for Canada, there's also been a few policy changes. Off-campus jobs are capped as 24 hours per week, and this was introduced in November 2024. The 24 hours per week in session unlimited on breaks. So when there's holiday, you're able to work full time. The postgraduate work permits is up to 3 years for master's program. Again, there were a few changes. The country removed 178 courses from their fields of postgraduate work permits, 178, and they also introduced 119 to the list. 119 to the list. So when you are choosing a course, make sure that it's on the list of courses that are eligible for the postgraduate work permit. Postgraduate work permit, make sure that you're looking at that. And those are things that we're also able to advise you on. Some courses are not eligible for the postgraduate work permit in Canada. So for students who are saying, I just want to go and study a course, just let me get in. It doesn't work that way. You have to be sure that what you're going to study is going to be eligible for the postgraduate work permit. Otherwise, you've just spent, money, and you have got nothing in return for what you've spent in the country. I also want to say this: not everybody goes to study abroad with an intention to remain in the country. In fact, I've seen a lot of people. I was speaking to a parent yesterday and he said to me, I have done this and that for my child, and this is where she's coming to work. I've built a hospital already. She's coming to work here. She's coming to manage the hospital and all that. So not everybody goes to a country with the intention of staying back in the country, you know. However, there are things that we also advise when it comes to selecting a country. Germany also has an update, 140 full days or 280 half days per year. That's their policy. Their work hours is 140 days per year or 280 days half a year. The post-study is still 18 months. Again, Germany is a very strong place to stay back, to get your post-study work experience if you're looking to explore post-study opportunities as an international student. Destinations, we talked about this last week. I'm not going to dwell so much on this so we can take questions. These are industries that are in demand in these countries. The UK is the health and social care. You can just scan through this while I go on to the next. Post-study support and counseling. I'm going to touch a bit on this. Now, when you are selecting a course as an international student, one of the things you need to be careful about is selecting a course that would allow you get post-study work experience. I know that some parents will say, I don't want my child to work. I want them to come back to the country. I want them to not stay back. That's not the plan. They probably have a passport for some other countries. They don't need a passport. Of course, we encourage people to be patriotic to their country, but we advise you as much as possible, select a country that has post-study opportunities as an international student. Why do you need to do that? Everybody would need some sort of career development and work experience in that country. So if you have studied a course that is not beneficial, you probably will not even get a place to do your work experience. Why do you need work experience? Work experience is good because it will look good on your CV. It gives you an opportunity to have a feel of how things are done in that country, especially when it comes to work. It gives you a chance to gain real world experience. So imagine a student has studied computer science, and we have a student, by the way, in Ireland who has just gotten an internship, his internship approved, to be done in Google. I can bet you that he's definitely going to get a job afterwards. Because for you to be selected to do your internship in Google, as long as you do well, the chances are very high that you're going to be employed after your studies. But imagine that you don't even get employed. You already know how things are done there. You pick up work ethics that you're going to apply anywhere else. You have that on your CV saying, I have worked here. Those are the things that you need to consider when you're choosing a country. Am I going to be able to get work experience there? It helps for career development. It gives you that work experience that you need to have on your CV. It opens your mind to greater opportunities. It helps you to be able to, build some work cultures that you probably will not get elsewhere if you didn't get that. So imagine you have an IT company or your parents have an IT company in Nigeria, and your plan is, I finish this program, I'm going straight back to the country to go and work in the IT company. That's a beautiful thing. But if you have done if you have your work experience from another IT company in the country that you studied, you will pick up certain things that you can apply to where you're going to. That's why you need to look at a country that gives you the opportunity to get a post-study work experience. But that can only happen when your course is also in demand in that country, because that's when you're able to apply for a postgraduate work experience, and you'll be accepted because they need people in that field. If you do a course that is not needed, nobody's going to need you. So if you speak to us, we're able to help you with that. The employers worldwide value as for you as an employee, it grows. Your value would grow because that is on your CV that you've done this. You learn different cultures. You learn how things are done in that place. You learn how professional environments are and what you can take from there and apply to wherever it is you're going to. But most importantly, it looks good on your CV that you worked in a place. Everybody will want to get you. There was a certain time in Nigeria when people wanted to employ people who had banking experience. I can tell you for free because then you know that the banks had very good values. So anybody who worked in the bank, they wanted to have them in their place. So if you have a banking experience then and you want to work elsewhere, people will take you because they had drive, they had values, they knew what work ethics were, they had the right work ethics. So people were scouting for people who had banking experience. That's the same thing I'm talking about. Just because you've worked in a particular country, just because you say, I have work experience from working in Canada, here, 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 they take you. Even if you have just work experience in working as a receptionist somewhere, they know that you've built, some sort of customer service relations. You've built some sort of work ethics that they can apply or that you can apply when you come there. So it's important that you go for a country where you can get post-study work just because you're going to get career development, you're going to build work experience from just working there. Secondly, there's also the case of return on investment. Return on investment. Studying abroad is not very cheap. I'm not going to use very, it's not cheap. Something has to give way. You're going to be paying in foreign currency, the tuition, the living cost, the visa fees, and a lot of things that will add up to studying abroad. So you want to get some sort of return on investment from that. And by working after schooling, just getting this work experience. I know some of us will say, I want to go back to my country, but just being able to get this work experience, you can get some money back. You'll be paid for the work that you're going to be doing. So that's some sort of work, that's some sort of return on investment. Being able to work after graduation, it allows you to recover some of the investment. You cannot recover everything. The goal is not to recover everything in the 1 year you're going to work or the 18 months that you're allowed to work, but it gives you something back you know, without post study or without having to do any of this, you don't get anything back from working in that, from schooling in that country, apart from your degree, which of course is a very, very huge achievement if you're able to successfully finish the program. But just getting that work experience gives you some sort of return on investment, which is also added to the work experience that you're going to be getting from working in that country. Again, for some countries, is a pathway to immigration. Some parents will say to you, I want a place that I can get something back. One of the things that you're likely going to be able to get back, not in all the countries, of course, but in some of the countries, is being able to get your immigration status confirmed in that country. So some of them, there are different routes to it. Of course, if it's in the UK, you finish your studies, if you get on a tier 2 visa, or you get on all the other visas that they have, and after a while, you can apply for your ILR and apply for your citizenship. Some of them will also lead you to getting citizenship in the country, if you're able to stay for the number of years that is required to stay back in that country. But those are the things you want to look at. In Canada, you finish your program, you get your work permit if your course is eligible for the postgraduate work permit, and then from there you can get on to applying for your PR and all that. So there are some of them that will also lead you to changing your immigration status, which is also a huge return on investment for anybody who's worked there or who has, studied there and is on that route to getting their immigration status changed. Sometimes some people say, I'm not interested. And of course, that's absolutely understood. But if you have that, it's an added advantage that you can get just by studying abroad. There's also the networking and the professional connections that you can get from working abroad. There's so many people you probably will not be able to meet until you work in that kind of environment. So for students who have studied abroad and are looking to be able to get these connections or professional networking, some of them you might not even see the need now, but just by them, giving you a recommendation, that would also look good for any employer that you're looking to work with. So these are things that you can get. You can network, you can ask questions if you are in an organization or an industry where you are exposed to people who are in higher, in high places in that industry, you might be able to reach out to them and ask questions and seek for, some sort of advice. And you get it just because you have been exposed to them. And you can only get that by working in that field. Again, it gives you personal growth and stability. The fact that you know that you've learned things as an individual just by working in that sector. It gives you a competitive edge. You are able to properly say, this is what I've learned here. And when you're put side by side your contemporaries, of course you have to do better because you've got some work experience by working in that country. So there are so many things that you need to consider if you're selecting a country. One, first of all, is the course that you want to study. Two, is a country that has postgraduate work permit or postgraduate or post-study opportunities, you know, that would allow you stay back a bit and get some work experience. And if you bring that experience back to your home country, that's the plan. You're able to show, some sort of distinction between you and others, because everything that you've gained from working in that industry or working in that organization will be put to use, especially the good ones. We don't want people who are going to pick up bad things from working in an industry and bring them to another country, another organization, of course. But there are so many good things that you would have learned, and these are the things that we would help you with. Which country are you going to get the most from working, from getting your post-study opportunity? Some countries can have 6 months, some countries can have 1 year, some countries it can be 18 months, some countries is 2 years, some countries is 3 years. There are so many countries and there are so many timelines that each country have given that will allow you stay back. And for some countries, they say no. I hear some students say to me, I want to work in Hong Kong, I want to school in Hong Kong. There's not post-study there. So there are some countries that don't have post-study opportunities, and some countries will say to you, if you're coming to this country, this is what you need to do. If you're not going to Denmark, for instance, will say, if you're not going to a government accredited university or institution doing a particular kind of program, you're not able to stay back. So there are so many countries that will give you a clause to their post-study opportunity that is open to international students, and we would help you to navigate it and get the best for you based on what it is you want to get out from studying abroad. For some people, it's just, I need to get my degree and come back to my home country. That's a beautiful one. But even as you're doing that, there are other opportunities you can get. One of which is also maybe doing a placement here just to get some sort of work experience. You gain a lot by being an international student. The travels, the things that you're exposed to, you gain a lot by being an international student. And you want to make use of everything. You want to milk it. Some students have courses that have placement in them. If you're saying, I don't want to do post-study, I'm fine, I want to go back to my home. I have a student, or I know of someone who, one of our students who went to Australia. He came to the UK, didn't use his post-study, went to Australia, didn't use his post-study. Family is doing very okay. He's gone back to Nigeria. He has no second passport, but he's doing well. That's not what he was after. He's gone back to his family business. But imagine that you have done a placement here in between, the experience that you will gain, because some courses also have what is called the placement here. So you can do maybe law with placement here, computer science with placement here, psychology with placement here, and you make use of the placement opportunity in the course or even the exchange program. It helps you, the networking, the things that you pick up from doing that. You cannot quantify that. You can't buy that with money. There are some people, it's just the experience they've gotten from working in a certain place for just a year or two, and you can tell that they're different on the field. So these are the things that we advise prospective students who are looking to study abroad to consider. First is your course. I also talked about last week, flexibility of the course. How well are you able to, use that course in every field or in almost all the fields? How well are you able to, work in any other country apart from the country that you've studied? There are so many things that you need to look at when you're looking to study abroad. So many things you need to consider when looking to study abroad. But this is one of the ones that I want us to look at today, which is the post-study opportunities that you can get. Why do you need to choose a country with post-study opportunities? Some people come to us and I say to them, you've only got 6 months to stay back in this country. Is that enough for you to get something, to get the work experience that you need after studying the course. There are some people have put in over 100 applications. I know of somebody who said to me she put in over 200 applications to be able to land one job. It's a competitive space out there. So you need to know what to study to be in high demand. You need to pick up experience even as you study. For some students, I say to them, aside from getting a degree, make sure you're getting certifications as you go on in the program. Make sure you're able to get work experience, because when you go out, people want to see what you have, not just the degree. They're going to speak to you. They want to learn, they want to know what you've been able to get. What are you bringing on the table, to the table rather, in that organization? Is it just your degree? So being able to explore the placement option, or being able to explore the exchange option, or being able to get the post-study work experience would help. For some countries, they are big on you getting a work experience in that country to be able to employ you. So even the student jobs will be good if you're able to probably get a good student job that you can put on your CV to say, I worked here, I did this, I did that. I also mentioned, and I've always mentioned, that almost all the schools that we work with, they have everything in place to help students to get what they want. What am I saying? A lot of universities, or almost all the universities, in fact, not a lot, almost all the universities, if not all, have the student support service. And one of them is the career services. The career services will help you look at your CV. Career services will help you point you in the right direction when it comes to jobs. But the problem is a lot of international students don't take this opportunity. They don't go to career services. They don't speak to them. They don't, career services will tell you where their internships, because some companies can come to a school and say, we have this internship opportunity. We need students to apply. There's some of our partner schools that I'm aware of that has 100% employment rates for accounting. And for some other courses, we have schools where they have career opportunities and people will come there, companies will come there just to scout for the best candidate for the roles that they want to fill. So speaking to us will help you know where to apply to. We'll look at the course you want to apply to and tell you the opportunities that are available for that course. Again, even for the country that you're going to study. If the post-study work opportunity is reduced, if it's very low, we can say this is very low considering your course. You might want to go to a country with maybe 18 months or 2 years post-study work opportunity, so you can have enough time to be able to get the job that you want to get, or even get the experience that you want to get. Don't forget that in a country, there are so many universities, and all of them are coming out to feed into organizations. So these are the things that we want to talk about today: the post-study work experience, why it is important to choose a country that would offer you post-study opportunities as an international student. You're not a home student. Home students don't need the post-study work opportunities. That's their country. They wake up and they apply for jobs. Nobody's telling them you have 2 months to leave the country, you have 3 months to leave the country, you have 6 months to leave the country. And even in some cases, I have students who, they know that they have limited time to leave the country. They're not applying for jobs. They're not trying to get work experience. They're just sitting there. They're not taking up any of the opportunities that is, thrown at them. It's sad sometimes what I see, but that is why we're doing this. So you know early enough the opportunities that are available to you. When you go to a particular university, explore, go around, speak to all the offices. They are open. Book appointment with career services, book appointment with the student support services, book all these appointments. Just go and have a conversation. Know what's happening there. I was speaking to somebody yesterday, and she's a student at a university. And I was just saying, so how much are you making? She said, I make a lot of money. She said to me about, and I said, is it up to £1,000? She said, wow, I've made more than £1,000 just in this month. I'm like, you've made more than £1,000? She works at the university. There are opportunities even in the university that you can take advantage of. But if you go in as an international student and you just mind your business, you're not scouting around your environment, looking at opportunities, you will not know what is open. It's tougher on international students, Why do I say so? The home students who first get they get the first pick for everything. So you're competing with other international students and you're competing with home students to get these work opportunities or to get the work placements. So you need to properly position yourself, get the right information. From when you get in, know that it is a different world out there. Your CV has to look good. So don't have the opportunity to work, to volunteer, to give back. Students come and I say to them, go and volunteer. You can volunteer even with a lot of organizations. Go in, volunteer with them, see what you can get out, get the reference, do well at it. Don't just volunteer for the sake of volunteering and just sit and say, they said I should volunteer, it looks good. Your reference can open the door for you when you finish your program. So someone can write and say, this person, this is what he or she brought to the table, this is what he or she did just whilst interning with us or volunteering with us. And I recommend this person. There's so many people that have gone to intern and they got a recommendation to work elsewhere. So please, I know you're still, just out of high school or considering a degree, but these are the things to look out for. First is the course. Two, look out for the opportunities that that course will open up to you. Three, choose a country with post-study opportunities that you can take advantage of. Get the work experience. Some people, just whilst doing the work experience, have applied to work in another country and it looked good on their CV and they got the job. Um, Again, I think I have stressed a lot on this point. I'm hoping that we all have picked up something. Again, why do you need to use us? We're licensed representatives of overseas colleges, high schools, and universities. We have affordable study destination options that you can take advantage of. Because we have over 300 institutions across 30 countries, we're able to advise you on which country you can go to that will suit your budget and suit what your plan is afterwards. Some people have come to us and said, my plan is I want to finish school and do this. It's a one-on-one conversation and we point them in the right direction and they're doing well at that. Again, you get support from application to your final arrival overseas. We do a lot of these webinars. Some can just be for high school students, some can be for the post pre-departure briefing. When I say pre-departure briefing, we brief our students on what they need to expect when they get into the country. What do you do when you get into the country? What would you be expected? What would be expected of you, both from the university and the community where you are? How do you apply for jobs? How do you apply to get your insurance? How do you apply for your health? To be registered to access medical health care. So many of these things were able to point you in the right direction. Like I said, we don't leave our students. We don't just put you in a university and hands off. We work with you all through. Again, we've talked about the 99% admission success rate. Because we're experienced, we know what you need to apply for based on the documents that you're bringing forward. If there's a document that we need, we request for it. If there's something we think you need to do, we let you know early enough. There's also a high chance if you use us for your visa application, and there's the post-study career support that we give when it comes to applying for jobs or just looking at your CV, or when it comes to, pointing you in the right direction. We're speaking to one of our students some months ago, and she was talking about looking for a job, and we said, look here, go into this, look at this industry. And she spoke to us yesterday. She's on the final stage of her application with that industry, and we're hoping that it comes out very well. So she's done several stages. And once she gets the job, we're going to come out here because she's going to do a testimonial for us. And we didn't just leave her. We also put her in touch with someone else who did that same job and has passed through that. So that's what we do for students that pass through us. We don't leave you. We put them in touch. The older one has coached her on what to expect with that interview or when it comes to the interview. And we're really hoping that she gets the job. Fingers crossed, because we're sure that she's going to scale through. She's a good one. We're hoping that everything works out fine for her. And we're going to give the testimony when next we have this session. But those are the things that we do. We support you with your career post-study. We don't leave you. We tell you things that you need to do. If the plan is to go on to further studies, or if the plan is to go on to get a job, or what to apply for, or even where to look at, we help students all through. until we see how well they are doing. We have students who have called us to say, I'm doing really well. This is where I am. This is where I am. And they're very happy just because we've advised them. We're hoping that you can be that next student that will take the advice, from us and come back to give us your testimony of how well it has gone for you. I think I've done a lot of talking this morning. I'm going to take the questions now. So Tosin, back to you. I hope I was able to cover the things that you know, that people would have questions for.
Thank you very much, Juan. It was a very insightful session, and I'm sure people have a lot of questions. So we want to give a little space for people to be able to type in their questions. And like I said, if you want to speak, just raise up your hand, and we're going to mute you so you can ask your questions directly. So we would be going on a short break. We're also going to be showing you testimonials of our students during the break. The lead consultant has mentioned some of the students that we have placed and what we've done for them. So we are going to be showing you the testimonials of these students speaking, students we've placed in different countries, even students that have gone further into their career paths. So we are going to be showing you how far Geston, so basically this basically shows you how far Geston is able to work with you. So we don't just stop at your school, we don't just stop at getting you admission. We would help and support you in settling into the country and the university you are at. So let's go into the break right now. So please drop your questions in the chat box.
Hello, my name is Amina, and I'm currently a student of Anglia Ruskin University, the London campus. I'm studying MSc in Accounting and Financial Management. And during the course of my application, I used the service of Geston Education, and they were really, really helpful, right from helping me to choose my school, to my course of study, to try and to help me get my CAS, my visa application, everything. They were very detailed. They were very detailed in the formation, and all I had to do was just go through my details and make sure that they correspond. Especially during my CAS, getting my CAS. It was really a tough process because I was already reaching the deadline. They were, helping me to make sure that I get my CAS early. So I would like to recommend Geston Education to you also. Thank you.
Thanks to Geston Education, I reached Ireland safely and about to achieve my study dreams thanks to Geston Education.
Hello everybody, so I don't want to take out this time to thank Geston Education for helping me actualize this dream right from when I was looking for admission in a school in Canada till the visa application and visa processing. They were amazing. Like, I'm telling you guys, like, it was a very nice experience with them. They put me through every single detail and made sure that I was following. I was made to understand everything that I was going through. So right now I'm in Canada and I want to thank them for helping me actualize this dream and helping me achieve this feat. I want to say a very big thank you to Geston family and Geston Education. Thank you guys.
I want to say thank you to Geston for allowing me, for giving me this opportunity to school in the university of my dreams. Geston, thank you very much.
Hi guys, I want to use this opportunity to say thank you to Geston Education for helping me through my visa process, from helping me to get admission till my visa is out. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Guys, today I'm in the class having my lectures, all thanks to Geston Education. So if you want to travel to any country for your study, please make sure you contact Geston Education. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Abigail.
I'm David. I'm currently studying global development at Carleton University in Canada.
Well, this wouldn't have been possible without the help of Geston Education. Like, they help you with your visa, they help you from anything, like with your application, your registration for your classes. Like, the whole process is so smooth and fast. So we highly recommend that you use Geston Education. They're the best. Yeah.
Hey guys, come with me to school where I give you all a very important gist. I was supposed to leave Nigeria January 2024, but I had to change my plans because of the new UK restriction. This was mid-July. At this point, I was so devastated, but I didn't give up. I went on Telegram, I went on Instagram, and I discovered Jestone Education. Guys, Jestone Education gave me a new hope. Their processes was so sweet, so easy. I enjoyed working with them, guys. Yes. So guys, in the midst of all the frustration and confusion, I sent a message to Jestone Education and they actually gave me hope. Yeah, I sent a message by mid-July, yes, and by mid-August, my visa was out. Yes, by mid-August, my visa was out, and by September, I was already in the United Kingdom. You can imagine how fast the process was. I mean, I sent a message to them by July, and by September, I was already in the United Kingdom. That was like so fast, guys. So, Jestone Education, they really know what they are doing, and I needed to give them this shout out because they are the best, like absolutely best. So, this is my school, and it is a new adventure entirely. Guys, thank you to Jestone Education. You are amazing. Hello, my name is Amina, and I'm currently.
All right, thank you very much. So I'm sure you heard already from our students. Just Education is ready to walk you through your admission process, your study visa process, and even when you get to the school to help you settle in. So we offer the full package. So let's move into the question immediately. If you'd like to book a one-on-one consultation with the lead consultant, you have some personal things you'd like to share with her, please reach out to your assigned advisor. They are going to set up a meeting with you and the lead consultant. So like I said, also, if you want to ask a question, please raise up your hand and we would give you the opportunity to speak. So the first question we have here is from Gwen. So he said, I have HND and I'm interested in studying in either Malta or Ireland. What country would you advise I go to? And will I be eligible for a PGD program?
Sorry, I need to look at that question again. HND interested. Again, I think some of these courses, I might not be able to say, do this or do that here. We would advise you based on your budget. If you come to us and say, my budget is 5,000 euros, there's nothing we can do with Ireland. It's way more than 5,000 euros, right? So the advice is going to be based on what your budget is, what course you have studied. When it comes to postgraduate work placement, Ireland is way higher than Malta. That I'm going to put out here. But we can't do anything when it comes to your budget. It depends on how much you're willing to spend and what you want to get out of it. But both countries are good countries to study, but there's a difference in the tuition and the cost of living. But with your HND, we can get you into Ireland and we can get you into Malta.
All right, thank you very much. I'm sure that answers your question, Gwen. So we have another question here. Fatia said she wants to study in Germany, but the block account is a barrier. So she decided to switch to nursing. She's asking if you think it's a good decision for her.
Okay, so the block account does not apply to only medicine. And it applies to everybody going to study in Germany, right? So if you switch to nursing, you're still going to have to provide that block account. So I'm hoping that the switch is not based on the block account because you will not be able to, run away from it. You still have to. We have countries that you don't need to provide the block account. So if you come to us, we're able to advise you on other destinations depending on your budget. I don't know what your budget is. I don't know if you have an offer already for medicine or that's just something you're looking to start processing. Again, for medicine, a majority of those schools would have them taught in German language and all that. So we need to have a one-on-one conversation with this applicant and we can take it up from there. But block account is something you cannot run away from when it comes to Germany.
All right, yeah, I'm sure that answers your question, Fatia. So someone said they want to study aeronautic engineering in Germany or Stanford University, but he switched to studying mechanical engineering in Nigeria. So I don't know, he doesn't know if he could still study his initial choice, which is aeronautic engineering in Germany.
Okay, so bonus points. Mechanical engineering is like the mother of engineering. From mechanical engineering, you can delve into electrical, you can delve into aerospace, you can delve into aeronautic engineering, and so many fields of engineering. So yes, you can switch from mechanical engineering to aeronautic engineering. You can do your first degree in mechanical and do your master's in aeronautic engineering.
All right. Please, can you share your opinion on a university in Germany, Ausbildung for nursing? Can you talk on both?
I don't know about the university. We are licensed to represent universities, and this is not one of the universities that we're licensed to represent. Again, you can get a degree from any university. Don't forget that as long as that university is accredited. So if this is the university you want to go to, by all means apply to them. We're not licensed to speak on their behalf.
So Izine is asking your opinion on radiography and nursing. Which one has better pay and their comparison?
They are both very good courses in the healthcare industry. Both of them are very good courses. Both of them are also in high demand. I think it's dependent on you and the country that you want to go to. In some countries, radiography will have a higher pay, whereas in other countries, nursing might have a higher pay. So it depends on the country, but both of them are in high demand. Both of them are absolutely good courses to study in the healthcare industry. I might not be able to say go for this and don't go for this. Depends on your personality. One thing to note, for some of them, you might have more client-facing roles, more patient-facing roles, which is the nursing. Radiography, you don't necessarily need to have more patient-facing roles. If I think that's one of the ways to make that comparison. Are you someone who wants to be with the patient every day, speaking to them, checking up on them? We need to check your personality. We need to have that conversation about what's your personality. Are you empathetic? Are you somebody who wants to check on them? Have you taken your medication? This is what we need to do today and all that. So it depends on your personality, not just the pay, first of all. It's your personality and what you're able to do. Because some people are frustrated even as a nurse. They don't want to be in it anymore. They don't have that passion to take care of people, right? So it depends on your personality and what it is that you want to do. But both of them are good in the healthcare sector, and in different countries the pay is different. In some countries, the radiography pays better. In some countries, nursing pays better. So it depends on the country, but both of them are in high demand.
All right, ma'am. So Ella would like to ask you a question. So please, if you can get her on mute so she can ask her question. So I would be asking the next question, then we'll get back to Ella. So I want to study aerospace engineering. My mom advised I write SAT. I registered and will be writing soon. I need your guide on what to do and schools to recommend.
Okay, so for this question, we probably need a one-on-one, session with you to look through your grades. SAT is one of the grades, but there are other grades that I believe that you have. We need to look through your transcripts. We need to look through your Waec result or your NECO. No, I know NECO is not out this year, but your Waec result is out if you have done Waec, and see your transcript and see what you've done over the years with your grades, and we're able to advise you. Again, we need to look at budget. If I sit down here and say apply to Purdue University, they've got very good engineering program, but Purdue University is not anything less than 50,000 USD. I don't know what your budget is, so it's best that we have a one-on-one conversation to be able to, walk you through the school selection stage.
All right, Ella, are you ready to speak now? Okay, we'll move on to the next question. I'll get back to you. So Rejoice is also asking for nursing. She's asking for your guides. So Rejoice, you also have to book a one-on-one. So you can sit to the lead consultant and you can go over your options and school recommendation as well. So please,
Sorry to sing. I know there's a question on medicine and nursing and all that in the UK. When it comes to nursing and medicine, the requirements are completely different. The requirements to get in is different. The fees are different. The grades different. So so many things that we need to look at when it comes to this. It's not something we'll sit down here. For nursing, you can just do a foundation for 1 year and you go on to do your nursing degree for 3 years. So in total, you're looking at 4 years. For medicine, there are several requirements to getting into medicine. You can do the A level for 2 years and you can do the foundation for 1 year and get into 5 years of medicine. The fees are also different. We need to first look at what your grades are. Most importantly for medicine, we look at grades. Whereas some schools can take your nursing with B's and C's and even maybe a few D's depending on what grades, what subjects you have them in. That will not happen when it comes to medicine. Medicine is strictly, dependent on your grades and then your budget. Some schools in the UK can have medicine for up to £40,000 or more per year for the medical degree. So we need to have that conversation with you and see what your grades are, see what your budget is. Is it going to be the UK afterwards, or can we point you into another country or direction where it might fit your budget? If we have that conversation and you have everything, looking good, then we're able to properly say, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do. But we can't give you answers here and say, do medicine or do nothing, because we don't know what your grades are. If your grades don't support medicine, there's nothing we can do about it, So these are things that we look at when we're advising for courses. Some of them we're not able to give you an answer here because we will need more information to be able to advise you.
All right.
Hi, Tosin. I think Ella can speak now.
All right. So Ella, please go on with your question.
Okay. I actually want to study medicine in UK, but I'm in nursing school right now. Yet, so I'm still confused on which school, what country, and what am I supposed to budget, stuff like that, the visa, the passport, everything. I need guides about it.
Okay, Tosin, can you repeat the last part of our question, please?
I think she said she needs guide on the universities and the countries to study at.
Okay, I know
Currently at nursing school.
She's in a nursing school. It's going to be a long one. So I'll prefer that we have a one-on-one conversation with Ella, because in a nursing school, your degree from nursing is not the requirement for medicine. Yet, now when I say that, I mean there's some schools in the UK that would have medicine as a second degree course. Let's just say that medicine as a second degree course, whereas you can apply for just the 4 years of medicine. But we need to see your grades from your nursing program. There are also other exams that you need to take. The grades from your program will determine, are you in a bachelor's degree in nursing? Are you doing your diploma in nursing? Those are things that we need to find out. Again, it doesn't have to be the UK. We might be able to place you into other places to study medicine other than the UK. The UK is highly competitive when it comes to nursing. So please, we would like to have one-on-one conversation with you, especially if you are already doing something and looking to then go on to study medicine. We want to have a one-on-one conversation with you. It's possible. That's the first answer. It's possible to get into a medical school from what you're doing, but we want to know what your budget is, what your grades are, how much years have you spent in the nursing program, what are your grades looking like in the nursing program, how far do you want to go and all that, and we'll be able to advise you. We have schools across several countries that would offer medicine to you, but it's dependent on a lot of things, and we need to have that one-on-one conversation with you. But is it possible? I'm sure the answer is yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ella, for that question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Sarafina also has a question. She raised her hand, so if we can get her on mute, that would be great. So move on to the next question. I'd like your advice on computer science, cybersecurity to be precise, a university recommendation.
Okay. Again, we're not going to be able to recommend universities here because we want to have a conversation with you. We want to know what your budget is. We want to see your grades. We want to know your age. We want to know a lot of things about, being able to point you in the right direction for selecting a university. So if I say here now, apply to Brunel University, and at the end of the day, the students or the prospect is 15 years old, right? We won't be able to get you in because you're less than the age requirement to get into the university in the UK. Or if I say apply to maybe Newcastle Uni, and you tell us my budget is £10,000, we might not be able to get you into that university. So recommending a university can be done when we have a one-on-one conversation with you. We're able to ask questions about all these things that we need answers to, and then we can respond. Is it the UK? Is it Ireland? Is it Malta? Is it Spain? Is it, Germany? We can tell when we have that conversation with you. But we have schools that offer computer science with cybersecurity, or computer science, or just cybersecurity. We have all that in place.
All right, thank you very much. I don't think Sarafina is ready to speak. Can we get Happy to speak, to ask her questions? All right, let's move on to the next
Sorry,
question.
Tosin. Just to confirm, so Happy Robert, I've asked you to unmute. So if you're not looking at your screen, you might not see the notification. So I've asked you to unmute to be able to unmute and speak. Carry on, Tosin.
Okay, thank you. So let's move on to the questions in the chat box while we wait for Happy. Good morning. Hi, Happy. Are you ready to ask your question?
Yes, please. Good morning.
All right, proceed. Good morning.
Yeah, please, my question is, what school in UK does master's by research that allows dependents to come in? I mean, schools in England. And I want to also know if January intake is on, please.
Okay, thank you for that question, Happy. We have schools in the UK that offers the Emirates program and that will allow dependents. And we have some of them that are open for January. I believe we have Aston University, we have Wolverhampton, and we have a lot of other schools. However, the requirement will be the requirements, I don't know if you've met them. So maybe when we have a one-on-one conversation with you, we can speak to you about the requirements and speak to you about how we need to make that application. Again, for the UK, our application process is free. We don't charge a dime to apply to universities for you, but that is after we've had counseling with you and we know what your budget is and we know who is funding your studies. So we're not just throwing in applications. We need to see your documentation, of course, genuine documentation from you. We need to review your documents and see what you've made. So if somebody comes to us and says, I have a path, but I want to study Emirates, that's going to be a waste of everybody's time, including the university admissions team. So that's why we need to have that one-on-one conversation with you. But we do have schools that have Emirates program and that starts in January and that will allow you come with your family. I believe that has answered your question, Happy.
All right, thank you. I believe that answers your question, Happy. So let's take one question in the chat box. He says, good morning. I'd like to study in Canada or Germany. I would love to study something related to mass communication and journalism. I don't know which school to go to, and I also don't want it to be so expensive. I need help, and I'm also a postgraduate. I'm currently in university in Nigeria, and I want to transfer.
Okay, on this program today, or in this webinar today, we're not going to be advising on any specific university. That's because we will need more information from a student or prospect to be able to advise. I hope that answers the question. So if anybody's asking, what university can I apply to? What university can I apply to? We won't be able to give you any university name or institution name today. Because if I tell you the institution, you run off, I have not helped you. You will need to know what you have, in terms of your qualification, your grades as well. We also need to know what your budget is. So I won't be able to name any university here. I only named the one for the Emirates because she wanted to know Emirates schools that will allow, and I've mentioned some. But when it comes to transferring your grades or requirements, or can I get here or get into a particular school, we will not be able to name any university. But what you've mentioned to us, I'm sure it's doable. I'm sure you might be able to transfer, but we will not be able to name any university. I hope that
Right.
answers the question.
Yes, it does. Robert, are you ready to speak? So quickly, let's just go over one question in the chat box. So Damaris is asking, what are the options for undergraduate students? Underage students.
Okay, when it comes to being underage, I think it's dependent on the country as well. We have countries that will take students at 16, right? So if a student is 16, you're technically underage, but we can still get you in. Another option for them is they could do like a post-secondary program, which is also a pathway to the university. That can be doing an A-level program, it can be doing a foundation program at the age, as long as we know that on progression, your age will be right enough to get into the university. So there are so many options. And if a student says, I'm 13, and I'm out of secondary school, there might be nothing we can do other than say, go and redo the program somewhere else. I think that would be a very, very very rare occasion where we have somebody who's 13, but I know we've seen 14 plus and we've seen 15. On progression, some schools can still take you at 16. So yes, we're still going to be able to help students who are less than 18 get into the university.
All right, I believe that answers the question. So we have two questions on international relations. So someone is asking if he or she can study international relations in the US, chances of getting scholarship as well. And someone else is asking if she can get international relations in Canada and what the requirements are.
When it comes to getting international relations, I'm going to answer this for both of them, both America and Canada. The answer is yes. Those courses exist in the universities that we represent. So you can get it in, the schools that we represent. We're able to get you a school. I don't know what your grades are again, so I'm going to say yes based on just the question that you've sent to us. Again, when it comes to scholarship, it's dependent on a lot of things, and we need to have a one-on-one conversation with you to know what you might qualify for, and if you qualify for any, based on your grades or your budget, or even the university that we're looking at in the states that you want. There's so many things to consider. America is a very, very big country. There's over 4,000 institutions in America. So yes, I'm sure we'll find international relations somewhere in America. For scholarship, they are based on so many factors, and we want to have that one-on-one conversation with you to walk you through and see if there's anything we can come up with when it comes to scholarship. Same for Canada. There's schools that will offer international relations or international development. There's so many courses that you can do if you don't find international relations. I believe we will find international relations, but there are courses related to that. It might not just be called international relations, but yes, that's also a course. But don't forget, like I said earlier, make sure that you're choosing a course that is in high demand. I think I'm going to leave that for the international relations people. Make sure that the course is in high demand. Make sure that the course is flexible enough. Make sure that you can adapt it to any industry. But yes, we can get international relations.
All right, thank you very much. So Robert, you can go on with your question.
Good morning. I would like to ask, I want to study nursing in Canada. So I would like for people to put me through into the application form.
Okay. We have schools that offer nursing in Canada. We want to see your grades to be able to advise if you're eligible for it. For some of them, they might ask for CASPA. That's an aptitude test that you need to take to be able to apply. For some of them, they might not need CASPA, but the requirements vary from one institution to another. So we need to know what your grades are when we're having that conversation with you. We need to know what your budget is. Um, you know, but we have schools that offer nursing in Canada.
Okay, but I'm using my Waec results, my O-level results.
That's what we're going to be requesting from you to be able to work on the application. But we need to know what the grades are. We don't want you to start telling us what the grades are here. But we're going to, when you speak to, your assigned advisor, they'll speak to you and look at your grades. For nursing, a lot of schools are asking for A's and, B's. It's highly competitive to get into nursing in Canada. For some of them, we're able to get them into practical nursing in colleges. But, nursing can be, it's not something we're going to say, even with your grades, oh yes, we're going to get in. We're very sure. It's one of those courses that are in high demand and are also highly competitive to get into. So we would want to have a one-on-one conversation with you to be able to walk you through that process. Maybe offer options just in case it doesn't look like you're going to be able to get into the nursing program.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Robert. We would be moving on to the questions in the chat box right now. So I made my Waec once. I need scholarship and sponsorship to study medicine because I have a low budget. Do you help in that area? I'm currently 17 in age.
Okay. Like I said, studying medicine outside of Nigeria is highly competitive. A lot of students don't meet the grades but have the funds. Some have the funds and have met the grades. A lot of things to consider when it comes to medicine. There are not too many schools that will offer you a scholarship because there are so many applications into the medical degree program, and the schools are not able to take them all in. But we need to have a one-on-one conversation with you when it comes to medicine. We want to see your grades and know what your budget is. I always say something with when students ask for scholarship. Somebody can say, my budget is $10,000 and I need a scholarship. There's no point if we can get you into a school that will just charge you $9,000 without even offering a scholarship, as opposed to going to a school that would offer you $30,000 and offer you 5,000 scholarship. So when it comes to scholarship, we still want to know what your budget is to advise you.
All right. So for those asking how they can book a one-on-one consultation, I believe someone sent you the link to join the webinar today. So please, you can reach back to them. However, if no one reached out to you, if you found the link maybe in your email or wherever, you can send me a private chat here. You can drop your number for me, or our contact details are also in the chat box. You can reach out to any of the numbers there. Also for Ella, please, I'd like you to send me a private chat in the chat box with your contact details so I can be able to track your assigned advisor so they can reach out to you to book the one-on-one consultation. Also for 894799, please do the same. So the person is asking if he or she can study medicine or nursing in Turkey and what the requirements are.
Yes, you can. The requirements will be just your Waec results for now.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to study nursing in Germany, and I'm looking forward to getting a scholarship. Can you help with that? And by November, I will be doing the B1 Dutch exam.
For the schools if the student is looking to those schools that are free tuition schools, we don't handle any of those in Germany. But if you're doing the B1 Dutch exam, I think you're in the path to, being able to apply for those kind of schools, but we don't handle those kind of applications.
All right, thank you very much. And this is also a reminder to Ella and the number I called earlier. Please drop me a private chat with your details so I can help you book the one-on-one consultation with the lead consultant. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Chukwemeka. Good morning. Is it possible to study architectural engineering in Canada or Germany with my O-level results?
Yes. It is possible.
Okay. All right. So someone is asking of your honest opinion about international relations again. Do you think it's a good course to study? What are the career progression? The person basically said his parents want him to study a professional course. So what are your opinions on international relations?
Okay. So when it comes to international relations as a course, is it a good course? The answer is yes. Of course, there are industries and there are organizations that would need those kind of experience or career um, or degree. Let me just put it that way. So places like the UN and a lot of other organizations will need that. But when you're looking at selecting a course, how many people can the UN employ? How many people can the industries, sorry, or the organizations that will need your degree qualification, how many can they employ? And are there other courses that can also fit into that sector without you necessarily having an international relations degree? So I'm not saying don't study international relations. I'm saying have a plan. What do you want to do with this? There are other courses, international development and sustainability courses that are available that you can go on to. Again, like I said earlier, you can also have certifications to pair them with. If you have things around data, health informatics, there's so many things you can pair them with. If you have a language course that you can add on to it, because there's so much competition when it comes to getting a job. I know that people don't know this, especially the young ones don't know because they have never applied for a job, but there's so much competition when it comes to applying for a job. So you want to do something that is easy to get a job. If you have a very strong passion for working in that sector, so you want to work in government and diplomacy or international organizations or even academia and research, you can, or even some private sectors, you can. But I would not, and I bet to, be corrected. I will not sit down here and say it's in high demand. Okay? It's not in high demand, but it's not a bad course. What we're talking about is courses that are in high demand. It's not in high demand, but it's not a bad course. So you can pair them, you can tweak them a bit to make yourself, more attractive to employers, but it's not one of those courses that are in high demand.
All right, thank you very much. I'm very sure that.
I'm trying to be a bit more diplomatic with answering the question. So nobody will say, that's my own opinion, that's my opinion. So nobody will say, oh, this is what they said. It's not in high demand. It's not this. No, I'm being careful with my responses when it comes to telling you this course is not in high demand or is in high demand. You can look them up in countries that you're looking to go study and check if it's one of the courses that are in high demand. Are there sectors that will need the degree? Yes. But how, or institutions or organizations that will need the degree. But how big is it? How many can they employ? That's what I'm talking about.
All right, thank you very much. I'm very sure that answers the question. Okay, so I have a question here. Is SAT a requirement for medicine and surgery in Hungary?
No.
So would you like to touch on the requirements for medicine in Hungary?
So before I even say no, does the student have, there are students who studied in an American qualification school. So is this person from one of those high schools?
The person did not state. I guess the person wants to write SAT, so he's asking if
I'll just assume that this person has studied Waec. Sorry, is going to be writing Waec or has written Waec. Waec is just fine to get into medicine and surgery in Hungary. What your Waec result or your NECO result is just fine. You don't need any other qualification. If you have your A level, so whether you have your A level or not, for most of the schools that we represent, you're still going to be required to write an entrance exam. So you will be placed into the program based on your success at the entrance examination. If your grades are low in the examination, you'll be required to take the BMC, which is the basic medical course for 1 year, and then move on to medicine. If your grades are very okay, yeah, you can go directly into the medical program. So, but the base, the general requirement is your Waec, your O-level results. You don't need any other thing.
All right, thank you. So what are the requirements to study medicine in the UK? Lucky Blessing is asking.
A-level can be one, international foundation can be the other. There are so many routes to getting into the medical program in the UK. There are two that I'm sure of, the A level, the IB, the International Foundation Program. We first need to look at your Waec to advise you properly.
Okay. So Onyuchi said she has a degree in MCB, that's microbiology, and she wants to study nursing. Any advice? Is her qualification suitable for that?
Yes, so we have schools that have nursing as a master's degree program. With your MCB degree, I don't know the grades yet, but I can tell that if the grades are good, then yes, you can study nursing as a second degree in the UK.
Okay. We have a couple of questions in the chat box, on YouTube, because we are also streaming on YouTube and we have people that have joined and also asking questions. So someone is also asking for the same international relations in Canada, and I'm sure your response has sorted that. So someone is also asking what of scholarship, what's the is her criteria for getting a scholarship. So do you just want to touch on the scholarship questions?
For where? For which country?
No country was stated, so I guess she's just open
Criteria
to
for
any
getting
country.
scholarship would be your results. That's number one. I always say that there are different kinds of scholarship. There's merit-based, there is, regional-based scholarship, and there is the need-based scholarship. So I don't know which of the scholarships you're talking about, but before we talk about scholarship, we need to see your grades and what you want to study and in which country you want to study. That would help us advise. It's not a one size fits all when it comes to scholarship. So if somebody is saying to us, my budget is 2,000, if we're looking at a country or a school that the general budget is 30,000, there's no miracle that we can perform, especially if your grades are not such that you can get a full scholarship, you know. So we need to be having that one-on-one conversation with you to see what you have, what you want to study, your grades. If a student has pass, scholarship means you're a scholar, you're good at what you're doing. That's what scholarship means. That's the first definition of scholarship. Your grades, that's the first way to look at scholarship. What are your grades? So if they're not matching up to what the requirement is to apply for a scholarship, for some schools, the scholarship can be write an essay. Tell us why you need the scholarship. So there are different ways to apply for a scholarship. We need to know where we're looking at first and then see the requirements for getting a scholarship in that school or in the country.
All right, thank you very much. So someone said from his research, aviation field professional graduates with certificates are in high demand in US and Canada, and is asking if Gerson Education offers support for these programs.
When you say aviation schools, are you talking about flying schools or just an aviation degree?
I think it's
Different.
degree because he said aviation field.
Yeah, aviation field is big. We can support if you're looking at the flying school. Some people just want to go to the flying school because they want to fly a plane, and some people want to get a proper degree. So I think that question is a bit broad. I need to really know what the person's asking for. But aviation field is big. It depends on where you want to work. In America, it's a big industry in America. We don't get people into jobs. If the person is asking for jobs, we don't help you get into jobs. We only point you in the direction. So we're not going to say, this is a job, this is a job, we will point you in the direction. So I don't know, I'm a bit confused with that particular question the person has asked. So see, if you do understand it, you can break it down for me, but I think I'm slightly confused with that question.
So, from my understanding, the person is just asking if, from his research, people that went through aviation schools or people that have certifications in aviation, they're in high demand. So he's asking if we have partner schools that can offer these certifications or courses.
Aviation school is still broad. Are we talking about? I think we need to have a one-on-one with this person. What
Yeah.
in the aviation are you talking about? Are you looking to fly a plane? Are you looking to be part of the controllers? Do you get what I mean?
Yes, I understand you, ma'am.
That's where I need to know. We have flying schools where you can just apply to fly a plane. But are you looking to be air hostess, or what exactly are we trying to get from the aviation school? Then we can tell you if we have anything that is related to what you want.
Okay, so if you're still here, if you're still on the call on YouTube, so please you can drop your contact details or reach out to us. We will be dropping our contact details on the YouTube chat box. So you can send us a message and we can book you for a one-on-one to look through your options and also get more details for you from you as well. Okay. So I had a couple of people asking for the one-on-one. So please do send me your contact details privately on the chat box so I can book you on the one-on-one. So Lucky Blessing is asking for the easiest requirement for a country for entry medicine.
The requirement for entry medicine in some countries is just your Waec. I think that's the easiest you want to hear. So again, it will be just your Waec, depending on the country that we're looking to get into.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I mean Waec, NECO, your O-level results.
All right. I'm trying to look through to be sure I've not missed out on any of the questions. Okay, I think we are good to go. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming in today. Like I said when we started, this is the last episode we will be having for the post-Waec webinar series. After Waec, what's next? This is the last episode. However, we are also going to be having, in September, we'll have something really amazing planned out for everyone. From next week, we are going to be having a pre-departure webinar. And this webinar is for students basically that have gotten their visas, students that are looking to travel to different countries, UK, US, for the September and October intake. We're going to be having a webinar with them next week, Friday. And we would be speaking about giving relevant information on what to pack, documents that's going to be handy for them, basically everything that you need to know when you get to these various destinations, the important things and policies you need to note, and how to navigate your ways in getting jobs. We are going to be speaking on this next week, Friday. So please stay tuned to your email and your WhatsApp. We are going to be sending you more details on these webinars. So it's going to hold throughout next month, the month of September. August, we used August to deal with the high school graduates and for parents looking for options as well. So September, we would be looking and focusing more on the postgraduate. So we're going to be speaking on courses for you to study different destinations. They're going to be walking you through everything. All right. So yeah, thank you very much. Thank you everyone for joining today. So we are going to be showing you a picture of one of our students. So she came to us. She wanted to go for her undergraduate. We gave her the advice she needed, counseling service. Our lead consultant had a one-on-one with her, and she went on to one of our partner schools in the UK for her undergraduate. She moved on to her master's, still at our partner school. And after her graduation, she decided to move on to the UK military legal department. And we are going to be showing you a picture we received recently of her. She is currently in the UK Army Legal Services, and we're really excited. So this just goes to show you that Jeston will always help you and put you on the right path. Now you're going to see she's really excited and really happy for all of the decisions that she took and all of the support she received from Jeston Education. So we are not just a regular study abroad agent. You'll be getting a support partner from us, from our career counseling to our post-study support as well. So that will be all for today. Thank you, everyone. So we're just going to show you the picture of our student. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Amina, and I'm currently a student of Waec University, the London campus. I'm studying MSc in Accounting and Financial Management. And during the course of my application, I used the service of Jeston Education, and they were really helpful, right from helping me to choose my school, to my course of study, to try and to help me get my cards, my visa application, everything. They were very detailed They were very detailed in the formation, and all I had to do was just go through my details and make sure that they correspond. Especially during my CAS, getting my CAS, it was really a tough process because I was already reaching the deadline. They were helping me to make sure that I get my CAS early. So I would like to recommend Jetstone Education to you also. Thank you.
Thanks to Jetstone Education, I reached Ireland safely and allowed to achieve my study dreams. Thanks to Jetstone Education.
Hello everybody, so I don't want to take out this time to thank Jetstone Education for helping me naturalize this dream right from when I was looking for admission in a school in Canada till the visa application and visa processing. They were amazing. Like, I'm telling you guys, like, it was a very nice experience with them. They put me through every single detail and made sure that I was following. I was made to understand everything I was going through. So right now I'm in Canada and I want to thank them for helping me actualize this dream and helping me achieve this feat. I want to say a very big thank you to Jetstone family and Jetstone Education. Thank you guys.
I want to say thank you to Jetstone for allowing me, for giving me this opportunity to school in the university of my dreams. Jetstone, thank you very much.
Hi guys, I want to use this opportunity to say thank you to Jetstone Education for helping me through my visa process, from helping me to get admission till my visa is out. Thank you so much. I really appreciate. Guys, today I'm in the class having my lectures, all thanks to Jetstone Education. So if you want to travel to any country for your study, please make sure you contact Jetstone Education. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Abigail.
I'm David. I'm currently studying global development at Carleton University in Canada.
Well, this wouldn't have been possible without the help of Jetstone Education. Like, they help you with your visa, they help you from anything, like with your application, your registration for your classes. Like, the whole process is so smooth and fast. So we highly recommend that you use Jetstone Education. They're the best. Yeah.
Hey guys, come with me to school. I give you all a very important gist. I was supposed to leave Nigeria January 2024, but I had to change my plans because of the new UK restriction. This was mid-July. At this point, I was so devastated, but I didn't give up. I went on Telegram, I went on Instagram, and I discovered Jetstone Education. Guys, Jetstone Education gave me a new hope. Their processes was so sweet, so easy. I enjoyed working with them, guys. Yes. So guys, in the midst of all the frustration and confusion, I sent a message to Jetstone Education and they actually gave me hope. Yeah, I sent a message by mid-July, yes, and by mid-August my visa was out. Yes, by mid-August my visa was out, and by September I was already in the United Kingdom. You can imagine how fast the process was. I mean, I sent a message to them by July, and by September I was already in the United Kingdom. That was like so fast, guys. So Jetstone Education, they really know what they are doing, and I needed to give them this shout out because they are the best, like absolutely best. So this is my school and it is a new adventure entirely. Guys, thank you to Jetstone Education. You are amazing.